Imagine you're in your car. You're driving alone in a long and empty road, lost in your thoughts. You have your eyes on the road, but your mind is somewhere else. Maybe you're overthinking because your boss wants you to finish an important project due tomorrow. Maybe you're late with payments. You must call the plumber because the sink is leaking. And wait a moment. Oh, man, that's not good. You've just blown a tire. There we go. This day couldn't be worse. You exit the car. You're going for the spare tire in the trunk when you see something on the street. You notice a shiny golden piece of paper. That's quite unusual. There's nobody nearby. You go for it. You kneel to the ground. You pick it up, and you are simply speechless. On the golden ticket you read, "Congratulations, you've just won $100 million. In a second, you see your life. You see all the years of struggle at work just to get by. You see your future, and in an instant, nothing could be clearer. You reach for the phone, you dial the number, and in a second, you no longer have a job. Also, your old boss seemed pretty upset. Maybe that's because you told him to screw himself. What? Do you think it's impossible? Do you think this could never happen? Winning the lottery is great. Actually, the greatest thing that could ever happen to someone. More than a third of Americans believe that winning the lottery is the only way they'll retire and live a decent life. It's probably one of the things you dream about when you have a shower. But just to get this in perspective, let's take a look at what math has to say. In case you don't know, the chances of winning the jackpot of megamillions or Powerball are 300 million to 1. Yeah, you heard right, 300 million. Now, let's go back very quickly to the example of the car. Imagine there are 300 million tickets. Among them, one is winning. Let's suppose we arrange all the tickets in a single file on the street. The length of a single ticket is around 8 inches. Once we have them lined up, we obtain a total distance of 37,878 miles. It's 1.5 times the circumference of the Earth. Now, imagine starting with your car from the beginning, driving following the line, then randomly choosing to stop and pick up a ticket. These are the odds for you to win. But that's okay. I'm not here to crush your dreams. Even if it's highly improbable for you to win the lottery, wondering what to do with such an amount can lead to some interesting answers. The question is, what would you do if you won $100 million? Stick around to learn what smart millionaires would do and why 80% of people eventually lose the entire amount in just a few years. Before we continue, I'd like to know, are you getting any value so far? If you are, kindly like this video, and if you're new, welcome. Go ahead and click subscribe. Done? Awesome. Now, let's move on. Okay, so first things first. If tomorrow you win the lottery, keep it for yourself. Yeah, we all know how we struggle for appreciation from other people. Money's maybe the best way to have an instant recognition. But your goal is to live free for the rest of your life, not becoming a human ATM for people around you. In case of a massive win, avoid informing your friends, coworkers, and even your family. If you decide to ignore this advice, your reward will be a flood of phone calls and messages from people asking for their slice of the cake. However, sometimes it's extremely difficult to keep this secret. In some cases, you must declare publicly your name and win, also by attending a press conference. Well, that's the end of your secret plan. To prevent that, the first thing to do is finding an attorney. And no, not the family attorney that you knew for 15 years and that your mother loves so much. Go to the biggest city nearby. Find a big office where you can hire highly qualified professionals, and most importantly, that don't know you. See if there's a way to go around the go public thing. Otherwise, you remain with one option, going to the press conference with a big emoji mask to hide your face. We're not kidding, a woman did that a few years ago. Now, once you decide to keep it for yourself, here's the second piece of advice. Wait some time. I know. The first thing you'd want to do is quit your job, buy your parents a new big house, and spend the rest of the money on boats and Lamborghinis. But please, remember this before making any hasty choices. Your goal is not living off the money that you've won. Your goal is to live off the money that money will generate. How? Of course, by planning your investments. We'll get into it in a moment. So, forget for a second about the initial adrenaline and take a big breath, just like this. First, put your ticket in a plastic bag to keep it clean. Hide it in a secret place, or better, in a safe deposit box at your bank. Tell the bank you have to leave some important documents, hide the ticket among them, and lock it for a while. Winners can claim the prize months after the drawing, so there's no rush. No one's prepared for such a change in their lives. The reason why people make bad money decisions is that they don't take the proper time to analyze all the factors. For the first few weeks or months, just act as anything happened. It's difficult doing so with your name on $100 million, but it's times like these you distinguish yourself from other people. Weeks have passed, and everything went as you planned. Nobody knows about your winning. You've hired a professional attorney, and you haven't taken any hasty choice spending your money in Lambos or trips to Puerto Rico. You're ready to claim your win. But there's a little pickle. When you decide to claim the prize, you're immediately faced with two options: taking the lump sum or taking the annuity payment. Both have pros and cons. Taking all the money in a single time will hit you hard, very hard. If you choose the lump sum, you're going to be left with 40% left. But we still haven't said anything about taxes. There will always be Uncle Sam claiming for what's his. You're going to pay around another 50% in taxes. So after that, your $100 million could quickly become $25 million. Yeah, I know, that sucks. But this is the only downside of this choice. If you go for the annuity payment, you're going to receive the full amount over the following 30 years. The thing is, nobody knows what will happen in 30 years. Tax laws may change, and you'll have to pay more of them. We could be in the biggest economic crash, and your payments could stop immediately. The most important thing to consider is the inflation rate. As time goes by, the power of the dollar decreases. That's because the government is printing money like crazy, but that's another thing. Long story short, if today you buy a pair of shoes for $100, in 2051, the year of your last annuity payment, you'll need $210. That's an inflation rate of 109.76%. So the best solution is having $25 million now instead of $100 million, but having a nice and diversified portfolio to invest your money in. Here are the best options that you, as a smart millionaire, should consider. Real estate. We're playing for the long run, right? Well, real estate can be the best solution for you. Just think about this. The average property appreciates by 3 to 6% at price every year. Of course, part of this is due to inflation, but the main reason is the demand. In 30 years from now, not only will inflation rise, but also the world population. There will be more demand for commercial and residential buildings. If you invest today in $1 million in properties, you'll see an annual return of $50,000 to $100,000 per year, just in rental incomes. And this figure is going to increase over time. A wise millionaire like you would spend a fourth of the money on that. So it makes $6.25 million. That amount can generate $600,000 per year in return before taxes. Here's the second option: index funds. Talking about long-term investment, a solid index fund is considered the El Dorado. You won't have to worry about exchanging your time for money anymore. You'll have time to work for yourself. If you still don't know what an index fund is, allow us to introduce you to the S.&P 500. It's a list of the 500 best performing companies in the United States. The better companies perform, the higher up they'll be on the list. Otherwise, if they're doing badly, they might be removed from the list, while other companies take their place. It works exactly like a football league. On the top, we have companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, and so on. Investing your money in an index fund is like having a small part of the best 500 companies in America. If it sounds cool, well, think about this. No one's ever lost any money when they bought and held an S&P 500 index fund for more than 20 years. The average return on investment in the last 10 years has been 13.6%. It's constantly risen for the last 90 years or so. So yeah, it's a great place to park your money and live off the interest for the rest of your life. On a return of 10% per year, a $1 million could easily become $15 million in 30 years. This is thanks to another good fellow called compound interest. The more money you invest, the quicker you'll see your investment appreciate exponentially over time. For this reason, you, as a smart millionaire, can easily invest another $15 million in index funds. You'll be able to withdraw 3% of your portfolio every year without touching that principal again. This makes $21.5 million invested out of your $25 million. This leaves you with $3.5 million. Now, a smart millionaire is someone that always has a backup plan. For this reason, it's a wise choice to leave $1 million in a cash reserve spread throughout several banks across the world. You'll have them in case of need. So, you're left with $2.5 million. They're yours to have fun and buy things that you always dreamt about. The dream of buying $1 million luxury house on the shores of Puerto Rico is becoming a reality. But before you do that, I just want to tell you this story. Do you know Mark Zuckerberg, the smiling guy, founder of Facebook and multi-billionaire? In 2012, he bought a $5 million house in Palo Alto, near the headquarters of Facebook. He could have easily taken $5 million out of his wallet without blinking an eye, but he decided to finance it with a 30-year mortgage. Why did he do that? He's a multi-billionaire. Why not buy it all in cash? It's a long explanation that might require another video. The point is, he saw the power of low interest rates for super rich people and used debt to finance more investments. I know it might sound confusing, but this is what smart millionaires do. They always look for a smarter choice. Each dollar that you spend is a dollar that you'll never see again. Instead, look at solutions to invest. Remember this when you're going to buy an expensive Lamborghini in Puerto Rico. That's all for this video. We hope we gave you some interesting insight. We've talked about winning tickets on the street, multi-billionaires, and Lamborghinis in this video. Now we want to know about you. How would you spend $100 million if you won the lottery? But most importantly, would you bide your time and wait some time before spending it? Let us know in the comments below. Well, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.